We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You know I blame it on industry. I blame it on my own hypocrisy. It's education and politicians. No one's willing to step up and speak.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net. Tonight Kim and I have a guest who is educating people in large masses in large settings. But first, as always, Kim and I have our usual chat and some news discussion. Hello Kim, how are you today? Or tonight?
I'm hot. I'm very, very, very hot. Northern Ontario has gone from wet to a heat wave. So now I have ruts all over my property where trucks and everything else have been sinking, and now they're hard as a rock.
Oh, so you've gone from one extreme to the other. Because last week when you were on the show, it was like you were swimming again.
Yeah, it was raining while I was on the
air.
And
yes.
with you, it was raining again. We've had flood after flood after flood. I've lost freaking count, and now it's drought and heat. For the last 4 days, it's just been heat, and we're in the midst of a heat wave here. I think it got to 36 or 38 today.
Oh,
it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't imagine those ruts are very nice to have to be driving or even walking through.
No, they're not. Now they're all hard as a rock, so there's no tamping them down, and it's just a mess.
So but how is the structure coming? Is it getting
coming? It's slow. Yeah, it's getting built. It's slow. The last week, 10 days, it was really on a slowdown, largely due to manpower and supplies. We're waiting on a few things, parts that we need to get things finished, and there's been delays in getting those. So we're on a bit of a slowdown. Hopefully by next week we'll be back at it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, and be back at 100% speed and get things situated so you can get moved into your temporary home before winter sets in.
Absolutely. It's almost time to start gathering the wood.
Yeah, well,
the CNE today, right? The CNE started today. The Canadian National Exhibition opened today in Toronto. And I, as a Torontonian, a born and raised Torontonian, I've been up here 20 years, but born and raised Torontonian, that was always the signal for end of summer. When the CNE starts, that means summer's over, because when this X is over, the kids go back to school. And that's it.
That's your 2-week warning.
Yeah. This is the tradition at the end of summer when the CNE opens, right?
That's
right. So I don't know, the heat wave. We'll get all of what we were supposed to get for the summer. We're going to get in like a few days and call it done.
I think we had the big one there in June too. You know.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. All right, let's. We got a news story here before we bring in our guest, so let's get that covered. This is something that is near and dear to you, I'm going to say.
Yes, absolutely. We got a news story coming to us from the Psychedelic Spotlight, the psychedelic news source online. Canada greenlights the country's third clinical trial using psilocybin. So this is from Diamond Therapeutics, and previous animal research that demonstrated how non-hallucinogenic doses of psilocybin hold potential to treat psychiatric disorders, including anxiety and depression. And we're moving on to some larger human trials.
Yes, it's good to see. According to Health Canada's clinical trial base, today only 2 other Canadian clinical trials involving psilocybin have been carried out. The third comes in the wake of a poll showing majority of the country's citizens support psilocybin-assisted therapy. Wow.
Yeah. Drug development company Diamond Therapeutics announced on Tuesday that it has received a no objection letter from Health Canada, allowing it to proceed with its research. Canada authorized clinical trial is the one way that it is being filed with Health Canada, where there is no objection has been raised by the regulatory body within 30 days. So that means they get to go forward. And the
Yes.
participants in this study, we got good numbers, man. 80 people are
Yeah, that's right.
participating in this
Yeah,
one.
80 of them, and there will be placebo-controlled and double-blind study that will evaluate the safety and the pharmacokinetics, meaning the interaction of drug and the body in terms of absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion, plus I'm sure other stuff.
Yeah, the next paragraph was a bit of a puff piece on Diamond, letting us know
Yeah.
who they are and what they're all about. Basically, they're based in Toronto, Canada, and Diamond Therapeutics is developing low-dose psychedelic therapies for use in the treatment of mental health disorders. The company believes the therapies have a potential to deliver a greater impact than the current first-line treatments.
Well, I guess
So, I mean, that's encouraging.
It's right, because this is phase 1 that they're doing, because it goes on to say
Yeah.
that they're going to do a phase 2 as well, dealing with
Right,
things.
phase 2 is going to come in after this. I mean, it's the first part in a mapped out agenda here. You know, studying psilocybin as a therapeutic treatment, hopefully becoming first line of defense rather than final.
Final line. Yeah, you know, we say that about cannabis as well.
Yes. Yes,
Right.
and you know, we see that all the time in the cannabis community where people, you know, suffering from things like cancer and that, they've tried everything else and then they come to cannabis and they try the oil as a last resort. If it's your first resort, then you have a better shot at it working.
Well, you're not delaying things, and you know, there's so many people
Right.
out there. Yeah, so many people out there that are talking about it that you know, there's no reason why it shouldn't be involved sooner. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, what do you think?
Yeah.
Time to bring in our guest?
Absolutely. I'm excited for tonight's guest and to find out more about a great event.
Yes, that's right. This is an event that you know, brings in lots of people, helps with educating them about cannabis and so on and so forth. So at this time, we'd like to welcome Sacha Hockenhull of Hempfest Canada to the Pace Radio Show. Hello, Sacha. How are you doing?
I'm great, and thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. We appreciate you coming on the broadcast and talking to us and our listeners, and telling us about your event. And I'm sure we'll have all kinds of questions for you over the show, and find out what's going on. Alrighty.
Yeah, well, this year in Calgary, we're doing our 5th Hempfest in Calgary. We've done probably, I want to say something like 24 across the country. But this one in Calgary, there's something new and awesome that we're doing, and that is that you can consume cannabis on site at the festival grounds. We've transitioned from a trade show, which we used to do in the past, to more of a festival / trade show. And yeah, we're looking at, you know, people coming out and bringing their festival chairs and their festival blankets, hanging out all day, enjoying all day music, vendors, and cannabis consumption, of course.
Oh, I like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hempfest is people are aware of Hempfest, but there are many Hempfests throughout Canada and throughout the world. So you guys are based mostly in Calgary. I want to start off by telling us first a little bit more about you. How did you get started in all of this? And how did you get involved with Hempfest? And what brought you to the cannabis community to do this?
Actually, we started in the event industry first, and we were doing large cycling events, and we actually had an industry, and that's how we started into the event industry. And then when Justin Trudeau got in, I called my partner and I was like, something big is going to happen in cannabis. It's time. And we both loved cannabis, and we were like, okay, well, let's do a cannabis trade show. And we had always dreamed of having this Calgary event where people could smoke weed at it, and it would be, this big, awesome festival. Obviously, we couldn't start there because it wasn't legal at the time. We started a couple of years before legalization. So, yeah, we started with the trade show model, and we've been doing that for 5 years. And now we've finally had a venue and a city that has approved both of them have approved that cannabis consumption piece and allowing us to transition into what we had always dreamed it could be 5 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. And now here we are 5 years later, and transition is happening. Now, you guys host several events, but right now we're going to concentrate on the expo that's coming up. It's great to see events actually planning to open and to happen. And I see your on your website here, your exhibitors list, and it looks like whole bunches of booths are already sold.
Yeah, so we have an indoor-outdoor space. The outdoor space is where you'll be allowed to consume cannabis. The indoor you won't be. And the outdoor space is nearly sold out. We still have space in the indoor area, but otherwise it's been received quite well. We did wait kind of till last minute to launch it because we weren't sure what was happening with COVID, and we wanted to make sure we were going to put on a safe event and all those things. So we did hold off till kind of the last moment to release this, and it's actually been received quite well.
That's amazing. So is it just the two of you? You mentioned your partner. Is it just basically the two of you? This is your brainchild and your dream, and you just dove head in first?
Yeah, we also have a couple of salespeople that help us sell the exhibitor booths and those kind of things. But we are a pretty small crew, family run crew. Yeah. It's
Very
me and my
cool.
cousin from Calgary, and I live here in Canmore, Alberta, in the Rockies, and
the Rockies.
Canmore. I have a friend that lives in
Yeah.
Canmore.
Yeah.
Is it
That's
Canmore?
a nice area.
Yeah.
That's a nice area for sure. The Rockies is beautiful there. It's just gorgeous. It looks like a really cool event. So tell me a bit about your entertainment lineup that you're going to have.
So in the past, we would usually have speakers talking about different aspects all over the cannabis industry. This year we've transitioned. We'll have a few speakers throughout the day, but mostly we're going to have local live music playing on the stage and moving more into that festival kind of feel. But obviously there's still vendors that have lots of information and lots of knowledge about what's going on in the industry. And obviously advocates and all those kind of things, we always welcome them, and you'll be able to go to their booth and talk to them and get information. So there's still that big information piece, but the stage is more so music entertainment at this one.
Nice. That's always nice for the festival goers to have something to watch and to listen to besides somebody just talking. There's a lot of the trade show type events seem to just flood everywhere. Of course, pre-COVID, the last 18 months has been different for us all across the globe. But pre that, it seemed like every month or every weekend there was a trade show for cannabis somewhere.
Yeah, it did get flooded, that's for sure. When we started, it was just us and Lyft in Canada. We both started around the same time, and then it was like it was everywhere. We did the biggest we ever did was 6 cities across the country in 1 year.
6.
Which was way too much to take on for our little
That's a
team.
lot. That's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot of travel. That's a lot of setup,
for sure.
tear down. That's a lot of negotiations. That's a lot of everything. Holy cow.
Yes.
I know what it's like doing it once, never mind 6 times.
Same here. Same here.
Wow. Yeah, that's ambitious.
Yeah.
That's ambitious.
It was, yeah.
For sure.
It was.
Yeah. So gravitating over to so you've established yourself. I mean, people hear Hempfest and they hear you guys' name in the places that you've been, then they say, oh, that's that trade show. Now that you have evolved into sort of more of a festival type atmosphere, did you run into any obstacles with that?
Still dealing with those obstacles. But what actually happened, the reason that we got this cannabis consumption piece allowed was somebody that we worked with at our old venue. We worked with them for 4 years, and they had moved to this other new venue. Canada Olympic Park is where we're going to be in Calgary on September 10th and 11th. So when we did that move, one of the employees that we used to work with had moved and vouched for us and said, these guys are running a good show. It's going to be good. We can, try this cannabis consumption piece with them. So we've been working with them and the city, trying to get everything permitted and ready to go for event day. And everybody's been working with us quite well, like including the city and the venue.
Nice.
They're all open arms right now with all of it. So things are moving forward, and permits are nearly signed, and we're ready to go. Yeah.
So when it comes to your outside consumption, is that just anywhere outside within your festival area, or will they have a designated consumption spot?
It's going to be anywhere in the outdoor area. The whole venue is going to be fenced off with an 8-foot fence blocked out.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to see inside there, but the whole thing will be the cannabis consumption area.
Nice. So people can actually walk around, go to the booths, and medicate while they're outside.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
The only thing that we ask is don't smoke in the lineup, and don't consume in the lineup, and don't consume in the parking lot, because that'll be one of those things that, as long as we can keep it contained, we'll be able to do it year after year, right?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That sounds like it's the first time through, and the city and everybody will be sort of watching. And if everything goes smoothly, then the next year it's not an issue, I would think.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dress to impress, as they say, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got to ask, I know that this is going to be a question on our listeners' minds. Grassroots or legal market, or both?
Both.
Both.
Definitely.
Yeah. Been to those before.
And my dream is that, hopefully all those things come together. I've been really excited about Farmgate coming up. And I think that's going to be a really great change for the industry, because we all know cannabis is a fresh product, and the way that they're treating it right now is not the way you treat a fresh product, right? You don't send it to a warehouse and let it sit for months and then send it out to stores, right? So I think the Farmgate thing is going to be a really good game changer, and I definitely see the industry kind of moving more away from the corporate. We started in the corporate, the pump and dump with stocks and all those kind of things. And I think we're slowly but surely going to move more to the, grassroots and small batch, small batch micros and all those kind of things. I think that's the future of the industry.
I'm,
At least I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm going through the list here.
Cola.
I'm going through the list of the vendors that are there, and I recognize some of these names, like Gazay. I always like to talk to Kurt. The Calgary, the Calgary Cannabis Club. We've had some of them on in the past as guests here on the network, on the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe. Oh goodness, I've gotten Joe Frere.
Calgary
We've had
420.
both those with us since the beginning.
Calgary 420, Alberta 420. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's several.
Herbal Air. Geez, I haven't heard that name in a while. Herbal Air vaporizers. Used one of those. Yeah, I used one of those for years as a demonstrator when I was going around doing what do you call those markets, farmers markets, with Wayne from Canada's Camel Food Lifestyle Shop.
Yeah, for sure. Turpfire is in there. We recognize that name for sure. And Turpfire, the boys over there are very cool. Lots of really familiar names here. Calgary 420, Alberta 420, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see.
Lots of new names that I've never heard of. So, I mean, that's always awesome when you see stuff. It's like, oh, what's that? Who's that? And then we get to learn about new stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's right. That's how you do that. Now, as far as if anybody who's interested in getting a booth, enjoy anything, they would just go to your website, hempfestcanada.com, and they can go in from there and get the information.
Yeah, just the exhibitors would go to the exhibitors tab and click on get a booth. And as it says in there, the price starts at $550. But we're always working with advocate groups or information groups, charities, any of those kind of things that are in the cannabis space. Let's say they can't afford a booth. We're always there to work with them, and we're always there to make a deal that works for them financially.
Fantastic.
So they can be there at the show. Because we know that's a big part of the industry, even though they don't have capital to be there, we need to make sure that they're there with, the biggest LPs like Aurora or something like that.
Right.
We need to make sure that we're highlighting the industry as a whole, all those groups.
Even back in, I'm sitting here right now looking at this giant poster in front of me for the Treating Yourself expos that were held in Toronto. Even back then in 2010, 2011, 2012, it was a mix. 7 Acres was there with the great big, talking about the great big greenhouses and stuff.
Yeah.
And yet it still had advocacy groups. It had people from the legacy market were all in there, so it was a mix. So I'm liking what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's how it all started, and then it got segregated after that. TY Expo, even the normal Champs Expo was a mix of everything, and then after that was a big, failure.
Even Lift was a bit of a mix.
Yeah, only the first one, and then after that, now it's basically all corporate.
Yeah.
Everybody went their separate directions. Now you've got like grassroots events happening, and you've got corporate events happening. And I think that's a bloody shame. That's why I asked about this one, and I'm thrilled that it's a combination of both, because we're all looking for information, product, new inventions, innovations, new people in the business, old people in the business. What's going on now? What products do you have? We're all doing the same thing. Why can't we do it together?
Well said.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to your event, I'm going to say, because we're people can buy tickets ahead of time. They buy them online. Is there going to be a gate there for them to get tickets?
Yeah, they can purchase at the door as well. We'll have obviously touchless options. And, even though the COVID restrictions have been lifted for the most part in Alberta, we'll still be, having hand sanitizer, promoting social distancing. We'll have touchless ways to pay when you get there. Mm-hmm. You can purchase online, of course, as well. And our space is quite big too, so there should be ample space to, have social distancing happen. And if you do want to wear a mask, then we encourage that as well, right?
That's up to the
all
person.
Those things, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's good. Now, as far as when it comes to, like, when you first asked them about the smoking end of things on premises, because, like, I know back in the day, vapor lounges inside an expo or something was pretty exciting, but not to be able to smoke cannabis within the event. I don't know, Kim. I don't know. Other than grassroots events,
grassroots events is the only one. They took it away from us. We had the smoking areas at the convention center. I think the last smoking area that I remember was the normal Champs event. After that, it was gone.
Yeah. Everybody was basically put out to the road. I don't know, you've been probably to the Metro Toronto Convention Center in Toronto, and it's sidewalk and road, and they're sort of pushing everybody towards the road.
Yeah, it was the first year of Lyft. It was the very first year that Lyft took it over, Al. And that very first year, they still had the smoking room, but that's the year they were trying to ask everybody for their ID to go in.
Oh, the
vapor. Everybody lost their shit. Yeah, and everybody lost their shit. No, I'm not giving you my ID to walk into this space. No way, you're not recording my ID. They're asking for ID. Yeah. And everybody lost their shit. So the first year it became Lyft was the last time we had a smoking area at a corporate event.
Okay. Yeah. So it's good to that you're allowing that on the grounds. Did they have any requests or anything that you had to do in order for that to become something, or were they pretty open about it when you first proposed it?
They were pretty open about it. The only request was, so the reason we are on the date that we are on is because the venue is being Canada Olympic Park. They host kids camps, and then obviously during the season they have athletes training and all that stuff. So they gave us one date. They were like, this date, nobody else is on property, so you can have it on this date and no other date at all, right? So they were like,
take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
September 10 and 11, or you're not doing it at all. So that was the only piece that was like a stipulation, but otherwise they've been pretty open and quite helpful with everything.
Yeah, good. And hey, if you're able to work with that date, obviously you were, to make it happen. That's the key.
Yeah,
making it happen. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, well, Kim,
absolutely.
I see it's.
I got a bunch of questions, but I know you're going to cut me off, so we should just go to break, and I'll come back with the questions.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. All right, let's see. It's break time, as I said. Kim and I will continue our talk with Sacha Hockenhull of Hempfest Canada. When we return, this is the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Once again, People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Check them out.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. Hey, we're back from our break. We are the Pace Radio Show, and we are live here at paceradio.net. If you miss our live shows, don't forget you can always catch the podcast afterwards at our website, found at paceradioshow.com. Tonight on the program, we have our guest, Sacha Hockenhull of Hempfest Canada, and my joint host is Northern Ontario, Kim Cooper. All right, you two, before the break, we were talking about the Hempfest, and as far as the exhibitors and what's going on, and the fact that smoking of cannabis is allowed on site in the outside vending area of the event, which is fantastic. I'm sure we can all agree on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I have a question. I'm looking through your website. I see things like Cup results in 2019 and Cup results in 2020 and Judges Corner. Is there a cup attached to this festival as well this year?
Yes, we'll be having the 3rd annual Hempfest Cup, and the cup is fun and exciting for sure. I always love getting it together, and the growers and the judges are always super passionate, and I learn a lot about this plant we all love for sure every time the cup happens, and every time I'm communicating with our growers and stuff, because a lot of the growers that submit samples for the cup are obviously way more knowledgeable than I am, so I'm always learning from them as well, which is it's a great thing. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, for sure. We're all big fans of Cannabis Cups. We've done and attended and judged several of them over the years. Cups are fantastic.
I think this one is run a little bit differently than what we're used to seeing, Kim. From what I'm getting here on the website.
To us,
yeah, explain it to us, Sacha.
Rundown on how this works.
I've never been a part of another cup, so
okay.
I don't know what the differences would be, but usually.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, what I'm gonna mention to you how they've been doing them at such as Kim Karma Cup, for example, or treating yourself during their expos. They had a cup, and basically what it was is that people submitted in cannabis to be tested, and then that cannabis was divided amongst all the people who bought judges' passes, right? And then those people analyzed and submitted their information into the organizers, and that determined the winner. And I see yours is done differently.
It's similar to that.
You think so?
We have some judges that are invited, such as Pantison and Jackie Childs, and Basil Kelly, Hart Steinfeld. Some of them are invited guests, and then some of them were also judges that signed on with us as well through the website. But what happens is the samples will come in and they do get sent out to judges. Judges will then give us their feedback in the 100-point system that was created by Andrew Friedman, the cannabis sommelier out of Calgary. And so all the judges will then put in their information, and then anything that needs to go off to the lab, such as if we're looking for the highest THC flower, highest CBD flower, all of that gets sent up to our lab, Keystone Labs at Edmonton.
Nice.
And then they'll give us the full results on anything that's entered into those categories, and then we're able to determine who had the highest CBD and things like that.
So you do lab testing for your judging. Do you do lab testing for your judging then?
For part of them, yeah. So for certain categories, we'll always do lab testing.
Yeah, for categories such as, like as you said, highest THC flower, that requires lab testing. That's not something that you can just determine by smoking.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've had some insane numbers come out of it too. We've had 35.4 THC the first year from Amir Isaacson, and that stuff was it was crazy stuff.
35% on flower.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the second year the winner was 32.85 THC, which is another mind-blowing number. Yeah. And then second was 27. It's pretty wild stuff to see. And it's even wilder to smoke it.
I imagine. Yes, that'd be nice to have a judge.
So you do have criteria then, where your judges and your invited guests and what have you, that do they do stuff like on taste and smell and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So the point system works on first it's a visual inspection. What does it look like? What's the bag appeal? Second is what is the smell? And then what is the third? Let me just look up my judging sheet here. So we go visual, and then we go the smell, which is one of the most important in our eyes here. And then we're going to rate the taste of it. So when you're smoking it, what's the taste, or what's the taste before you put any fire to it? What's the taste when you inhale a little bit of that aroma, right?
Yeah.
And then we judge the judge on their overall knowledge. So they give us a score from 1 to 10 of what they think their overall knowledge is. So then that way our judges are also categorized. And then we rate their overall experience with the cannabis. And then they would give us some comments for the growers that we like to pass on. So the growers can learn from what the judges' feedback is as well, right? So they have something tangible and they can go back and grow next year and do something even better, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, I see you've got a couple categories here that I'm not used to seeing in events, and which these are good. Top female grower. So you're having people submit entries or the ladies into this contest, and determining who's obviously the top female grower.
Yeah, definitely. So we usually have anywhere from, I think we had 4 to 10 female contestants, and it's something to just promote that in the industry, because we know there's a lot of great female growers out there, and we want to highlight them, and we want to get them more involved in this piece of the industry, because we know that they're out there and they're growing some really good cannabis.
Yes, exactly. And actually, I think there's one company, is it not, Kim? One company is all female or all woman?
I think there is, but I can't remember which one it is, actually.
Yeah. North 40, maybe, something like that. I'm not sure, 100% sure either. Oh, I see. Okay, I see Kim's got her mic muted. So.
Okay, that's why, because I'm talking away thinking, holy shit. Yeah, there we go. 48 North. There used to be a cannabis company, and it was all female, but it is no more.
Okay.
It was 48 North. They encompassed a small corporation up here called Delphin, and they bought that, and that's the Kirkland Lake Grow Op. And but 48 North was recently purchased, and they replaced the female CEO with a man. So that is no longer the case.
Yeah, sounds it. Yeah. Now another category here, best ACMPR. So obviously you've got a category here for licensed patients here across Canada.
Yeah, for sure. That's always one of the highlighted categories for sure. Lots of entries into that one. Yeah. And the cannabis coming out of that category is also just amazing. Like, even, talking about the highest THC, that's great as well. But something that's really nice and balanced is also something that's going to be winning Judge's Choice. We usually don't have the highest THC winning Judge's Choice. And the reason for that is that, as a lot of us know, there's so many other aspects to good cannabis than just what is the high THC, right?
You can have real high THC, but if it tastes like crap, I ain't touching it.
All I want is really high THC, then I'll consume distillate.
There you go.
Now I see.
That's all that was in. That's the way to go.
Okay, so when I was talking about the cups that Kim and I are familiar with them, a person, like for example, the Treating Yourself cups, a person had to submit basically a pound of cannabis, and it gets divided amongst all the judges. In this situation, I see you've got when a judge enters, there's a fee included. So how much cannabis would a judge give? And your entries are closed now. I see that. So how much would a cannabis would the person be giving in order to enter the contest? And I guess the cost covers for other stuff.
So we ask for 10 grams from each contestant, and if we're doing testing, so if they're in the highest THC category or one of those other ones that we need testing for, 3 of those grams go off to the lab. They're tested and destroyed at the end. And then the other 7 would be divided by the judges. So judges typically, so any of our invited judges, such as Jackie Childs or Panteson, they're going to get, and also our Calgary judges, they usually get together and just have a little
session,
hang out and go through all the samples together. And so they would get every single sample. And then our judges that sign on through the website, they're going to get about 10 to 15 samples, or 10 to 15 1-gram samples. So that's how it's divided out. So each of our judges that sign on online don't necessarily get to touch every single sample.
Correct. Yeah.
But the invited judges will.
Right, but the other ones won't. That's what I was doing the math going, okay, there's not going to be enough grammage there to go at everybody. But unless you've got it set up like that, where not everybody gets every sample, which, that works as well. So,
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very different, especially with the element of the testing. I've never participated in a cup where they actually test the product.
Yes.
So that's rather interesting.
Well, and that's a really nice thing for the growers as well. And the price that they're getting is, we work with Keystone on other projects, so we have kind of a preferred rate with them, so we're able to pass that on to our contestants, and it's something that they can look at, and they get a full terpene profile of 39 terpenes. They get 10 cannabinoids, so they can really look at the plant and at the whole plant, right? And get an idea of what's in there. And then year after year, they can see the differences from growing it differently, right? Because if you get a seed from a company, it might say, yeah, this will produce 18% THC and this much CBD, and it has these terpenes in it, right? But the way you grow it is going to change what your actual outcome is. So the great thing about this is that growers can look at what they're actually producing and then change and get higher levels of what they're looking for in that certain plant, right?
Yeah, I look at seeds the same thing as cars. They do tests on cars. They're going to give you the best gas mileage that they can record, right? And when it comes to tests on seeds and all that, as far as THC ratings and everything, it's going to be the same thing. The best test results that they got, that's what's going to be promoted or advertised. So, and the way you drive that car depends on how your gas mileage is, and the way that you grow that cannabis and the way you cure that cannabis will depend on how the quality of the cannabis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I used to say cannabis grown with love.
Yeah, absolutely. I see the Judge's Choice strain in the year that I'm looking. I think it was 2020. Bruce Banner, and I really like Bruce Banner too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The judges.
That's a nice strain.
In love with that one.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites as well. Yeah, for sure. It's a very nice even keel strain for sure. It's a very cool way of doing things, and now integrating into the festival atmosphere.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. Is there portions like of the cup that are going to be taking place during the expo? So are you going to have like any of the judging or anything like that?
Yeah, on Saturday so we're open from noon till 8 p.m. daily, and on Saturday at 6 p.m. we'll start the Cup Awards. So we'll go through all the mentionables, all the awards, get people their prize packs, get them up on stage, get pictures of them. There's a cup as well, so the winner is going to walk away with the cup as well, and we take it back each year and engrave their name in it. So each person gets to hold on to the cup for a year, and then it'll come back, and hopefully they can defend their title and get it back the next year. So yeah, there'll be a 2-hour award ceremony, and we'd usually mix that in with doing the awards and announcing everything, and then throwing in some music. The first year we had some comedy going on, so we always try to add some entertainment in there as well.
So what do you got? What do you got this year for entertainment? As far as you got music, I think you mentioned something.
Yeah, it'll be live music this year.
Live bands.
Mm-hmm.
Any names of bands that we might recognize, or it's just some local bands that are going to play some excellent music?
Just local bands that are going to play some excellent music. Yeah, so some from the Bow Valley where I live, and some from Calgary, some from Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. Good mix.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. So, like, if somebody I see here, I'm still floating around your website here. The I see you got a thing here on accommodations, like for people that are coming in from out of town, looking for cannabis friendly places. I see you've got High B&B listed here on your website. Is that where people can go and get a place near the event?
There's 2 hotels listed as well.
Okay.
If you head over to like the Calgary information page.
Okay.
And or the exhibitor information page, there's 2 hotels that are right across the street.
Nice.
Those are probably going to be the best option. High B&B is definitely trying to solve a problem, and it's a problem that I've actually had. Obviously, with having 6 events across the country, I'm always flying around, and at the end of a long day, what do I like to do? I like to roll a joint and smoke it. And with Airbnb, you're often having people that are like, no cannabis, right? So you're running into that problem. And we had glass blowers that we used to fly around with us as well. And, I've had them kicked out of a place for smoking cannabis, right? So
allowing the $250 fee, $250 fee to clean the rooms, and
exactly. So High B&B aims to solve that problem.
Nice.
I don't believe they have many people signed up in Calgary yet, so they're looking for hosts to sign up in Calgary and get things going. And I know they're going to solve this problem. And I'm going to be a big customer of them, but I don't think they've done it yet in Calgary, at least.
Well, let's hope for in the future.
I think they're struggling to get places signed up with them. We had them on, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm sure we did. Yeah. We had them on the show, and she was getting going. And I think it's a fantastic idea. I mean, all I do is use Airbnb, and it is a real problem. I try and find, I look for is places that offer a place for smoking. And I figure, well, if you're allowing cigarettes there, then I'm just going to smoke my pot there. And that'll be that, right? But they're few and far between, and they're not usually very good. So, I mean, it's a real problem for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Like I know back then, back 10 years ago, the International Continental Center there in downtown Toronto, during the expo, it had quite a few rooms that had some smoke blowing out of the vents and everything. Yeah. And people were paying that extra fee there. But, now that was 10 years ago. Now the laws have all changed. Legalization, Kim, you and I have talked about this in the past. Vapor lounges and all that stuff have all been clamped down on because of anti-smoking and anti-vaping laws, which weren't around 10 years ago. Right?
That's right. Yeah. I didn't have a problem as a patient smoking my medicine or consuming my medicine in a hotel room in the city of Toronto until we started talking about legalization. Once that conversation started, all of a sudden, everybody was all like, oh, I smell cannabis. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I've rented the same room for like 10 years and you smelled cannabis every other year too. and it was never discussed at that time. But now we're talking legalization in the country, and everybody's freaking out and dropping extra laws to stop cannabis consumption that's been going on forever. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. High B&B is absolutely needed. It is an absolutely needed resource for patients across the country as well as recreational consumers. You can go to the store and buy it, but then you can't consume it anywhere. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely we want to support them, and we want to help them solve that problem.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have options in Calgary yet. So, but hopefully we're going to fix that together at the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, absolutely. So if you've got a space, you've got a basement apartment, you've got a room that you want to rent out, you've got a backyard with, what do they call that? Glamping tent.
Glamping.
That you can throw up there. Yeah, we can go glamping. It's all good. Throw it up on high B&B, man, because people are looking for places to stay that are cannabis friendly or cannabis accommodating.
For sure.
Yeah, I know a guy who's listed on the high B&B, and he's rented out a spot recently for a venue that was going on, an event that was going on at Alderville. There was, which is a reserve,
awesome.
The reserve near me here, and they had an event going on there. And this fellow's in the area, and he has a place listed on high B&B, and he had some guests over the weekend. So
awesome,
nice.
Yeah.
See, and that's what it's all about, right? Is keeping the community connected, so that we can have this kind of thing, give and take back and forth between all of us. You've got something I need. Well, hey, I need something you got. So let's work together.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what it's all about, working together. We're all in the cannabis end of things here. So.
Absolutely. Well, I want to dive into a whole other aspect, but I see we're like 2 minutes away from the break. So before I dive into this whole other aspect, maybe we just go to break 2 minutes early, and then I can jump into a new direction.
We can do that. We have that.
We have the power.
We have the power to do that. That's right. Exactly. We don't have to call the head office or anything. We just go ahead and do it. All right. Time for a commercial break. We'll return. Kim and I will continue our conversation with Sacha Hockenhull of Hempfest Canada. You're listening to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville, and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive. The only way to go.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Are you interested in Canadian and international cannabis news? If you are, then catch myself, Kim Cooper, and Al Graham for our live reefer report on the Pace Radio Network, found at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. And welcome back to the Pace Radio Show, and thanks for tuning in. Before we bring in our guests, I'd like to remind everybody to tune into the Reefer Reporters tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Cindy and Craig. You can watch them, that's right, you can watch them on Facebook and YouTube, or you can catch the podcast afterwards here at the Pace Radio Network at paceradio.net. Today in the program, we're joined by our guest, Sacha Hockenhull of Hempfest Canada, my joint host, Northern Ontario, Kim Cooper. Well, Sacha and Kim, we've been talking about all kinds of things that was really interesting on that cup and what's going on there. And where we're going to head off to now. Kim, you mentioned before the break you had a bunch more questions.
Yeah, I just a little bit of a different direction.
That's what it was. Different direction.
Yeah. I'm just still going through the website. I have something else in the back of my head I'll get to later. But HFC production, events, and links. It's more than just the Hempfest and the Cup. Like, you guys got a growing summit listed here. C45 summit is listed here. And Alberta Micro License Association. You got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, we do. We've branched out into lots of pieces of the industry. That's for sure.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about, let's start with the Growing Summit. Let's start with that.
So the Growing Summit, we host in Kelowna, and there's actually, it's a summit that we hope will travel around the country, the same as the C45 does. So the Growing Summit is focused on growers and master growers of the industry. We know a lot of them are coming from the legacy market. A lot of them know how to grow cannabis, and they know how to grow cannabis in a certain setting, right? And now that it's fully regulated,
right?
Yeah, exactly. And now that there's so much regulation, there's just a lot of questions, right? Like, how do I grow cannabis plus get all these regulations and cross all the boxes and check all the things and everything like that, right? So the Growing Summit is a weekend for growers, master growers, and other people in the industry that are involved in that piece. And it's a knowledge session, basically. It's like a professional conference, but we do lots of information, and none of the information is pay to play. So we don't allow a sponsor, let's say, to pay and direct the conversation. The conversation always comes from the peers right? So we're looking for growers that are doing great things in this industry. We're highlighting them, and that's who we're getting to speak. We're also getting labs to speak, so growers understand what's happening on the lab side. When I send my stuff away to a lab, what do I need to know? What does that professional need to tell me about lab testing? Because there's all these nuances of the business now that are way beyond just growing the cannabis, right? Mm-hmm. So we're trying to bring all that information together for those growers. And then awesome. that event travels around the country, so we always want it to be a destination kind of thing, right? So we're always looking to make even our business conferences fun. So you're not going to a different business conference and being like, oh, that was boring and blah, 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 right? Yeah. You're going and getting really valuable information. Yeah, and you're doing great networking, and you're somewhere beautiful in the country that maybe you haven't been to before, and you're exploring Canada as well in a way.
Yeah, I'm on your Growing Summits website. I see some names on here that looks familiar to me. When it comes to your exhibitors, Remo Brands, a lot of people know about Remo.
Kelly, we all know Remo.
That's right. Kelly's Green Lounge. Kelly, Kelly is here on the Pace Radio Network. She's my co-host Mondays on the Reefer Reporters. So it's good to see. Good to see that.
Yeah.
So then, and then the 345 is similar to that, but it's more on the quality assurance people side. So it's an event for quality assurance professionals, and it dives into the same things. And again, we don't do the pay-to-play model, so we make sure that the content is fresh and coming from your peers, and then that has an association tied to it as well. And it's the Quality Cannabis Association, basically, is what that one is, and that one started in Winnipeg. And again, it's another event that we want to move around the country and show off different parts of Canada. And if you haven't been to Winnipeg traveling, there's actually really good food there. It's amazing. It's an amazing little city. And whenever I say that to people, they're like, really, Winnipeg? And I'm like, no.
In Winnipeg? Really, I mean, I lived in Winnipeg, so it must have changed. But it was a very, very, very long time ago. So hopefully it has changed, since the 70s.
I just think cold. Cold just comes to mind. Cold. I think Winnipeg.
Maybe don't go when it's negative 40.
Yeah. Isn't there a song about the corner?
That's what I love.
Yeah.
I do have to say, I always went.
I spent the summer there. Yeah, I spent a summer there. Winter hit, and I was like, I'm out. I'm out of here. Winter hit. I was gone. I was so gone. That was just a little bit too much for me. It was time to go. That's very cool. The C45. So this is all about quality control, quality product. Is it like sort of like the how to manage the production of such a thing?
Exactly. Yeah. So we're the content's focused towards that quality assurance person in the industry, and helping them get through everything that is on their plate. And there's actually they're probably one of the hardest working people in an LP is the QAP. So there's definitely a lot of questions there, and we try to get them that information on a yearly basis, and then with the association throughout the year as well. Yeah, and a lot of those professionals are actually coming from the pharma industry. So they're coming into an industry that they know quality assurance very, very well, but they might not know cannabis that well.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a whole game.
Yeah. Exactly, right. So how can we bridge that gap between the professionals that know what they're doing in the cannabis and bringing that information to other QAPs that might have come from another industry and are still highly, highly qualified, but maybe cannabis is new to them, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's the industry is constantly growing, and more people are always coming into it. And with 90 years of prohibition, there's still lots of people to learn. There's still lots of learning to be done by even people who've been around it for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This bottom one on your list here, really appealing to me. Alberta Micro License Association. And when we click onto that little tab, you say the voice of craft cannabis in Alberta. Tell me about this.
So this one was actually started by a group out of Calgary, and I believe Kylie Beaudry from Parkland Flower was kind of the driving force behind this one. And their mission is basically to, unite the micro growers. We're hoping to launch this Canada-wide. So we're hoping it's going to transition from the Alberta one to Canada-wide. Mm-hmm. And what we want to do here is basically unite the smaller growers so they have just as much opportunity as the larger growers, because there's a lot of things that are coming out of regulations and stuff that are definitely hurting the micro and craft industry.
Yeah.
And it's really weighed towards you need a ton of money to even compete, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with regulations. So the association is trying to, lobby the government and get things changed so that they can operate on a level playing field with, the Auroras and the Hexos and all those bigger companies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big task. That's a huge task, man.
Because
we've got going on right now. That's a big ask.
Because they force the micro producers to sell it through the large companies. That'd be like trying to get a small micro brewer and telling them that they have to sell their product through Labatt's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not happening on the alcohol end of things, and that doesn't happen in the food industry. So, I don't know why it happens with the cannabis industry.
Yeah, all tomatoes don't have to go through hunts, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
This makes sense. Now, I see they got Farmgate here. Now, I think I'm right. Is Ontario the only place that has Farmgate, or is it other provinces?
No, we've got it here as well. We've got it, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's you guys over there in Alberta that have it as well, or it's coming. I know we covered it on Reefer.
There's discussions coming for Alberta. There's, I think, one is open in Ontario. One Farmgate location. And then there's BC is pretty close to doing it. Alberta's still in discussions. I think it's going to change the whole industry once it's rolled out across the country, and I'm sure it will. It's just a matter of when. When will all the provinces get it? But I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah, but that's best case scenario at least with the current system that we have right now. Until the evolution of that takes place with micro growers, that's best case scenario for them is Farmgate, and then at least they'll be able to distribute their own product with that point. Is that what Alberta's looking at as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's a micro grower, or actually there's a micro brewery about 20 minutes from me, and he sells his beer right out of his processing place. It's an old church that he's got there, and his sign says open from 10 a.m. till dusk. So he's open from 10 a.m. till it's dark, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And
when it's dark, I'm closed.
Yeah, I think it would be great if you could have a model like that when it comes to cannabis end of things, where people could go to the micro producer and just pick up the product right there. Why force people to have to go through all those other channels? And then, like you said earlier in the show, cannabis that's older, people want fresh cannabis. They don't want.
Well, I think of the tourism end of it as well. Canada, let's face it, tourism was high on the agenda, pun intended, for legalization in this country, right? Everybody kept saying, everybody's going to come here because we have legal cannabis. Tourism was high on everybody's agenda, but at that time we had vapor lounges, we had people starting cannabis tours. We interviewed a couple of them on this show, where they were doing 2 different tours, taking busloads of people around and showing them different stuff in the cannabis industry, as well as the grassroots cannabis industry and movement that we've got going on. And then most of that died with legalization. A lot of it died with legalization. Farmgate could open those doors again by, somebody could, a small micro grow, hey, do a tour. Let me show you my grow up. And just like you do when you go on an exotic vacation to the Caribbean somewhere and you take a tour of the rum factory and you see how it's made and you see what they do, and at the end you buy a bottle, right? That'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Do that with cannabis.
It would. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think they should be able to do that.
And it took us a while to get there in the liquor industry too, right? Here in Canada. I have friends that own a small batch distillery here in my town, and I know, like even with spirits, that's pretty new for Alberta to have like small batch spirit distillers. That's pretty new. So I'm sure we're going to get there. It's just
taking so long, eh?
Right.
Yeah, and look how long alcohol has been legal. That's the thing. Like, you look at alcohol here in Ontario, anyways, has only been in some stores for only a few years. And usually that's like a grocery store. It's not like in Quebec where it's in convenience stores. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. And province by province, we do have our differences. We've got nationwide legalization, but provinces were allowed to enact their own, bylaws throughout it and their own, levels of tolerance of different things. And we do have a pretty checkered map across the board when it comes to certain things, like Quebec with topicals. Like, that's outrageous. But it is what it is with the provinces being able to pick and choose certain things, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Bit of a patchwork. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hempfest, this is the other thing that I wanted to ask you. Getting off your website for a couple of seconds. Hempfest is a very familiar name for a festival here in Ontario. And I had a lot of people message me asking me, who's running it now? So let's talk a little bit about that. Hempfest is different. You're a different Hempfest out there than the Hempfest that we know from Northern Ontario, right?
Correct. We ran a Hempfest in Toronto, and we ran a Hempfest in Hamilton. And then we've been in other parts of the country as well. When we started up in 2015, we were emulating and looking at Hempfest Seattle was kind of the big dream, right? That was the event that we were looking at. We're like, what an awesome event. We need to do something along that lines. And we were like, well, let's just be Hempfest Canada. And we went from there. And actually, just this year, I connected with the folks that run Hempfest Seattle, and we're in discussions now about possibly doing something together here in Canada.
Oh, nice, nice.
Which is really exciting.
That's Tim and crew.
Yeah.
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 Julie had him on here on the radio a few times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Tyler.
Yeah. So, yeah, they reached out this year, and I was
nice.
And we're in talks about possibly doing something. So that's very exciting for us, and that's where we got the name from. Essentially, was let's just be a Hempfest.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was no connection to the Northern Ontario one that is in regards to your question, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yes.
there wasn't.
So no connection. Because Al, you attended Hempfest when it was further up north, and then after it sort of fizzled out from there, it wound up in Moonbeam for a couple of years, and I covered it while it was there, and we interviewed the person putting that one on. And so when I heard about this happening, I said, and I heard Hempfest, I went, oh, cool. Is there going to be another one? Oh, cool. Who's running it now? And it's like, no. No, it's not the same Hempfest. It's a different Hempfest.
It's a different one. And actually in the States, so there's Hempfest Seattle, which started it, and then they license out the Hempfest name in the U.S. as well. So there's Hempfest all over the U.S. that are run by different people, and they just pay a licensing fee to Hempfest Seattle for the name because they have the trademark in the U.S.
Ah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what happens down there.
It's been around. It's been around up here. When did the one up here start? It was out by Sault Ste. Marie there. What the hell?
I've got a 2004 Hempfest hat, and it was before then. I have to agree with Sacha, almost like late 90s. I'm trying to think if Rom celebrated like a 20-year thing or something.
Actually,
I think so.
I can't remember the gentleman's name off the top of my head, but there was a Hempfest in Hamilton, and I have his original poster because I had him speak at our Hamilton event.
Michael.
And he did one in Hamilton way back.
Way back.
Yeah.
I think in the 80s or very early 90s or something. He did Hempfest Hamilton, and then we were there too as well. And,
everybody goes to Hamilton now. Hamilton is the cannabis capital of Ontario now, I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, everybody.
Hammertown, they're going to have to rename it Cannatown.
Yeah, Cannatown now. That's what it is for sure. Well, I mean, it's you've got lots going on. You have an extremely full plate, but it is so full of so many goodies that I can see why it is overflowing, because I mean, this is all kinds of exciting stuff, and of course the highlight is the expo. So tell us one more time when, where the expo is taking place and how people find out more.
So you can visit us at hempfestcanada.com. All of our events are listed there. And then we're going to be at Canada Olympic Park on September 10th and 11th this year in Calgary, Alberta. And cannabis consumption, again, is permitted.
That is so cool.
That is so cool. That includes joints, people. He's not just talking about having to vaporize. It's joints, too, right?
That's right. Not just
actually,
a vapor lounge.
The contract specifically says the consumption of cannabis is allowed within the gated fence of the consumption of any cannabis in any type.
There you go.
There you go.
You're covered.
Anything you want to do.
Yeah.
There you go. You're covered. You're covered for vaping. We have it in writing.
So when are you gonna bring something?
And I've read the contract like 7 times because I still don't believe it fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully,
it's like, really? I gotta see that again.
Like, this is your first year for the festival end of things. Obviously, you're going to be looking at doing it more down the road this way. Are you looking at taking this model on the road, like to other provinces? I guess you'd have to work within the provincial laws, but
Yeah, it'll depend on finding the right venue, and then obviously working with that city and making sure that they have consumption permits available and those kind of things already lined up and ready to go for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. No, you just never know. Just never know. Calgary's a little far for me to drive right now.
Kim, I'm right.
You're closer than me, Kim. You're closer than me. Finally, I can see.
Let's go.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm ready to do this, man. Let's go. This the radio station picks up gas. I'm on it.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that off air.
Sure.
Alrighty.
I'll pick up a tank of gas if it helps.
There you go.
There you go. I got one of your tanks.
You got one of our tanks.
There we go. We got one tank in the bag. All right. Contact me. You can PM me at. No, I'm only kidding. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But it's a very exciting thing to have happen. Have the integration of, legacy market along with legal market coming together in a cannabis-friendly space where cannabis consumption is allowed.
Nice.
Head out west, people. If you're in Ontario, maybe it's road trip time.
Maybe. That's right. Okay.
So.
Well. We see we're near the bottom of the hour. I know you just gave out some information and all that, but this is usually when we do our shout-out part of things. As far as, I know you've mentioned it, but go ahead and mention again where people can find more information on the event, as well as anything else that you want to throw in there. People who help you out with everything, if you want to throw their names out, that's up to yourself, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, so again, that's hempfestcanada.com, and obviously we want to thank all of our musicians that are going to come out and our vendors and everybody at the City of Calgary, of course, and the venue for working with us and helping us put this together, and all of the guests that are going to come out. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah.
Bring your festival chairs and your festival blankets and come and spend the day with us. It's going to be great.
Where can we see pictures? Is there going to be any video running? Like people, maybe that offhand that be running some stuff online where people could maybe watch or see pictures. Whether you guys have a website.
We'll live stream the Cup Awards, so that'll be live streamed.
Yeah.
And then off the top of my head, I'm not sure who's confirmed yet, but I do know that there is going to be a bunch of influencers on site that are going to be following the show, doing videos, all those kind of things. And of course, Jackie Childs will be there for the weekend, and she'll be hosting and doing her thing at the event and sharing lots of information of what's going on.
Good stuff.
But the best thing is to, get in that car, do the road trip, and come see us.
There you go. There you go. End of summer bash.
That's right.
Exactly. We don't know what's going to happen this winter.
No, that's right. We don't.
That's right. End of summer bash. It's always good to have. Absolutely.
Yeah. Kim, shout out.
Shout out. Oh boy. Shout out. I'm going to give my shout out mine's going to be a non-cannabis related personal shout out.
Sure.
Congratulations to my friends Amanda Robitaille and Dustin DeGagne. They just had a brand new baby boy, and he just happens to be in my living room right now. I am like feet away from a baby that is like hours old, and I have to smell his head from afar because I'm busy chatting with you all.
That's right. Yes. I saw the post. Baby odor is in the air. That's right.
Yeah. Yes. And he's here for a visit. And so I'm going to give my shout out to them. Congratulations on the birth of your beautiful baby boy. Welcome to the world, Judah. Great to see him.
Good stuff. All right. Just a reminder, tomorrow morning, Reefer Reporters at 10 o'clock. You catch them on Facebook and YouTube in the video end of things, and you can catch the podcast afterwards. Other than that, thank you to go out to our sponsors, the friendly and helpful folks at BMA Hydroponics, as well as Legacy420.com, Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions at drbuckcts.com, who I'll be seeing tomorrow, by the way, and the Camelford Lifestyle Shop in downtown Camelford. And huge thank you to you, Sacha, for coming on to the show. And see, look at that, we did the hour and a half. We made it.
There we
go. There we go.
And as always, thank you to you, Kim, for everything you do. And plus, thank you to our listeners for tuning in the program. And good night.
Good night.
Good night.
You know I blame it on industry.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Do you want to hear what patients and cannabis advocates have to say? If so, then catch the Pace Radio Show Wednesday nights here on paceradio.net.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.